Yeah,
Enjoy.
Tracy's made it. Hey, Trace.
Hey guys,
Hey,
What's
what's
up?
going on?
how are you guys doing today?
Is it
Good.
4th of July yet?
Right?
Almost,
We're,
almost.
we're
Almost,
almost there.
almost.
Cooper says hello, Tracy.
Cooper, hello.
Well, Chris, hey, I'm gonna be back on tomorrow with you. So,
Yep.
yeah, we appreciate you having you here. I'll go ahead and take over the screens from here and
Sure.
have a great day. And thanks for all the info, especially on the FXY calls and how you great call on the S&P yesterday at 7,500. We're getting that little turn right now as it's happening. So,
Sounds good. All right. Thanks. Yep.
all right,
See you,
buddy.
see you, Chris.
See you, Tracy.
Tracy. For those of you
Hello.
that don't know, we have Tracy Shuchart here from Ninja Trader Live, senior economist extraordinaire. How are you?
Well, all right.
I have to say, we missed you last week.
I know. I'm so sorry. I was not feeling well last week.
I told everybody, I can almost guarantee you Tracy is in bed at the moment. Because remember, we were on last week, we were on in the morning,
I know, and
and I
I
told
said
her,
I was
yeah.
like, I don't feel well.
Yeah, like her throat's itchy. I'm like, I know it's something like that. And when so just so you guys know, obviously I let everybody here know. So anyway,
So
it's good to
sorry,
have you
guys,
here.
but I'm back. I'm here.
Yeah, you
I'm
are
here
back.
now.
You are back. Hey, look, I got a couple of questions for you as we kind of go into this session and go into this long weekend. And let's start off. I'm just gonna pull up some charts, and I want to ask you about because you get to talk to so many traders throughout the course of the day. And guys, if you don't know Tracy, what time's your show, Trace, on Ninja Trader Live?
At 8:30 a.m. or 8 a.m. and then 8:30 we usually have the guests.
Right. So you guys know that when you leave the face show at 8:30, then you can go over to
Then
see
you can
Tracy.
go over and see. Yes.
No, we just the thing is that's why on Fridays I leave to join Ninja Trader and I leave the face show with all the European guys to join at the same time. It's just our shows at the same time. But remember, you're always going to have great coverage, and so make sure you visit Tracy. She does a lot of great interviews too, because you bring in a lot of great people to Ninja Trader Live. You brought in Brent Johnson this week, right?
Yep. We had Brent Johnson. We had Bob McNally, who wrote Crude Volatility. It's like
Nice.
a famous oil book if you are an oil nerd like I am.
So you are a nerd. You're admitting that now. So look, Tracy does a lot of great interviews. She is like literally my go-to person on all things energy and commodities and has been for probably the last 15 years. I mean, whenever I got a question, I got an idea, I got thoughts, I just, reach out to Tracy and we talk about it. And so I'm glad that you're here today. But you bring in so many good people on a Ninja Trader Live. I want to ask how everybody's framing tomorrow's jobs report because I'll tell you how I feel. Everybody here knows how I feel, but I want to hear how you feel or what the sense you're getting with tomorrow's jobs report and how people are looking to trade it. Because here we are, we're at basically, wedged up against resistance at all-time highs. We got jobs data. Everybody thinks it's going to be strong. Uh,
Besant, Besant said that it was going to be strong, but he hasn't seen it yet. I'm like,
r-
okay.
right. And same with Hassett. Hassett like 2 days ago said the same thing. We're like, okay, come on, man. All right.
Okay.
But but
So I think
how are you framing it in your mind?
yeah, I think the JOLTS data was better, came out better than expected, and that didn't show any weakening in the labor market. And so that did come out yesterday. We did have a little bit softer number for ADP this morning, but nothing, nothing spooky, although, it has been in like the 122 range, but it was lower than expected, which is not a big deal. I think everybody's thinks that tomorrow's jobs data is still going to come in strong. What I think was probably really important was Warsh speaking today. Now, he didn't say much because he was on a panel. So it was BOE, Lagarde, and Tiff from the Bank of Canada. But he did sound less hawkish than he did at the meeting. I think market side a little bit of a relief. We saw yields come down in the 2-year. Equity markets liked it. And so I think that was a big driver of today, besides the fact that it's, for first of the month inflows. So obviously, you've got all those 401k inflows from the first paychecks, et cetera.
All right.
So you've got all that. So that's definitely helping the markets today, along with a little bit less hawkish tone. I'm not saying, he was by no means dovish. He was just less hawkish. Just want to say that. But yields like that, yields backed off a little bit. We did see that. And so for tomorrow, we've been having really good numbers. I think the survey number, let me see what the survey number is over here.
Got to be 110 maybe?
Let me
105?
see what we got. I should have had this. I should have had this up. I'm sorry.
No. It's all good. One of the cool things about Tracy being with NinjaTrader, being such a, like one of the best futures brokers in the United States, is she has access to a lot of great tools. So
yeah. So the survey is 88,000.
oh, okay. So
and
that means the whisper number's got to be close to like 120, I would think.
probably.
Yeah, especially after
but
the comments we've seen. So
we'll see. I guess we shall see. This is the thing. I'm trying to pull up the banks if I can find it, what the banks say. But next time I'll come more prepared with that and have that all up.
it's all good. But so let's talk about let's talk about the number. Like, let's say the number comes in. I mean, we got to take into account all the hiring for World Cup, jobs, even if it's temporary. Like,
Exactly.
let's imagine the job number comes in at 120 to 150. How does the market respond? Because like I said, I'm going to give you my response after you're done. Because I know you and I don't get a chance to listen to each other. We can't, on a daily basis, because you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. It's just, unfortunately, we don't get to like talk every single moment. So, but what is your view? Should we get?
I think if we have a blowout number and it's well above the survey number and it's as strong as it has been, we might get a negative reaction from markets and a move higher in yields, because that would solidify, even with Warsh having a less hawkish tone today, that would completely override that and say, well, inflation's still sticky. It's still higher, even though energy prices are coming down. We know even before the Iran crisis that, that inflation was sticky and at 2.8%. And so I think markets probably would not have the best reaction, at least initially, to that number. And I think we would see yields spike higher. Now, if it came in well below, then you would have the opposite reaction on that. And maybe there's a sign of a weakening labor market. I think also it's going to be important to look at those revisions, what the revisions were for the last 2 months. Now, they have been revised higher, but this is the first time really this year that we've actually seen numbers revised higher. If you remember all of last year, I would say 99% of them were revised lower, and by a lot. And so I think those revisions are going to be really important, since we've had those blowout numbers. But again, you have to remember there was a lot of seasonal hiring for the World Cup, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. So that, I feel pretty much the same way. And I think you guys know the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears, right? Porridge is too cold, porridge is too hot, porridge is just right, right? So to have that Goldilocks response, to get the stock market just continuing to press higher, I think the numbers have to be somewhere within very close expectations. Because what Tracy's pointing out is, if it's too hot, people are going to go, whoa. The Fed, there's no way they're cutting rates anytime in the near future. Maybe they have to raise rates because of this economy's running too hot. And as she pointed out, on the flip side is if it's too cold, people are going to go, oh, damn, that's bad news. And that's probably bad news for the US economy as a whole. If we have jobs where we're barely even creating jobs and we're adding a bunch of these part-time World Cup jobs into the mix, that's not a good sign. So I think that's a great way to look at the markets, Tracy. And for me, as a dollar trader, I think it's pretty binary. Strong data, buy dollars. Strong weak data, sell dollars. Yields are going to follow. So I think that's pretty simple.
Yeah.
What do you think happens with now? Here's the trick question for you. You and I have talked a lot about crude oil, and I will be the first one to admit that I did not think crude oil was going to be as weak as it is, and it's still pretty weak. But what happens if we get data? Do you think? I mean, do you think crude's even going to react on any data we get tomorrow?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not. I
All
don't
right.
think so. I think it's kind of fallen out of favor. There's a lot of shorts in this market. Everybody's obviously eyeing that gap. So am I. But that said, I still don't think the worry is over, and I would not be surprised if we started to see higher oil prices again over the next couple months or so, and particularly into third quarter, because we're not seeing the demand destruction. We have a bunch of countries that are saying, we are freaked out and we are going to, fill our SPRs, because there was a giant SPR release, right? And so if any problem should arise and and the 60-day MOU ends up getting pushed out, or who knows, ends, because you could have a ceasefire, you're not going to have that same cushion that you had before, because
Yeah.
everybody's SPRs are drained essentially, and they're looking to refill. And I think, oil prices have pulled back enough that they're cheap enough for China to start buying again. They're fine while oil prices are high. They don't like expensive oil. They have, over 1 billion barrels in their SPR. They were fine to tap into that, but they are not looking to continue that by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, their LNG imports are already higher than they were last year, where we saw a big dip in LNG imports as well from them. And so do we see that same thing with oil? And that was helping cushion the blow as well for the missing stocks in the Strait. And so just some things to keep in mind, because I don't think this I don't think that higher prices are out of purview, just because it's kind of been calm and the market's kind of shrugging it off, and they don't want to think about higher oil prices anymore. And I'm not saying, 120 or 100. I'm just saying I think we will see higher oil prices.
Just like the average price will be higher. I mean, instead of being at $60 a barrel like we were for so long.
I think you're more looking at like 75, 80.
Yeah, right. Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. Hey, Tracy, a lot of people will be watching. I know there's plenty of people watching live, and hello to all of our live viewers. If you're watching via YouTube, give Tracy a big thumbs up. Tell her in her comments how much you appreciate her. That's always great. But a lot of people are going to be listening to this as a recording, maybe even as much or as long or as far out as it to over the weekend when we get the recording back out. It'll probably be over the long holiday weekend. What are some of the things, like I said, you cover so much on NinjatradeLive. You talk to so many traders, really great analysts and thinkers in the market, a lot of economists and fund managers and whatnot. What's been like a theme that you think that people should know about? Like one, maybe a sector of the market, maybe it's an oddball, something that's standing out to you. Maybe, it's keeping you up at night. What would you say?
Yeah, no, we have asked that, like, we do ask that question, and it's people are kind of all over the board, to be honest with you. You've
Really?
got a lot of people saying AI is a bubble. This bubble's, going to pop. It's not going to last because these companies are spending so much money, and you're not seeing any kind of return necessarily yet, and because the depreciating value of these chips and all sorts of reasons, they just don't, they think the AI trade is a bubble. And then you have some other people that think that it's, we're just in kind of the inning stages of this, and this is going to continue. So everybody's kind of all over the board. But what I do think is interesting is that I'm hearing a lot more people, yay, finally, talking about commodities, and they are bullish the commodity sector, particularly copper, obviously, because that it pertains to the AI build out. Everybody is still actually bullish long-term gold, and kind of looking in this area below 4,000 to start buying again. And so those
Yeah.
are kind of the things that I've been hearing. The consensus is is more so on the commodity side of things, believe it or not, than the equity side of things. And most of the people I talk to are equities people. So.
And what's I think really interesting is that I mean, they've had such a big pullback that these are, well, most, I don't want to say all commodities, but like for example, gold and silver. I mean, I think this is if you go look at this chart, I'll just pull up a daily chart of how we're viewing, gold. I mean, we're near this big horizontal support around 3,900. I mean, that was the fall of
Yep.
last year, and we're literally just, we're trading there. It's
Right
pretty.
there.
Yeah, pretty key. You can see how relative strength is very divergent here. So, I mean, these look like great opportunities. I do. Let's talk a little bit about copper, and the reason why I say that is copper. I know you were really bullish. You came
I
on here
am,
3 weeks
yeah,
ago, and you're
I am still very bullish on copper, believe it or not. Um, I'm long term though. I mean, I'm looking at this as an investment for, um, you know, 5 years or longer. So
right. Like when you were here, we were basically here. It was about 2 weeks
yeah,
ago, and we had a really nice
nice
rally.
rally.
Yeah, it was
So
like, yeah. Go
and
ahead.
we've come off a little bit. Sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt
no,
you.
no, no. Go
But
ahead.
I mean, we've come off a little bit. I know that it's looking flaggy to you apparently. But
Yeah.
this is also really tied to the AI capex trade, right? And so when we've seen a pullback in these stocks, it's been very volatile. We've kind of seen a pullback in Nasdaq, for instance. The chart doesn't look that different on a longer term chart, like on a daily chart, not like a 4 hour chart.
Yeah, like I'll go to like the longer term chart. I mean, this is a weekly chart. I mean, that's not a bearish trend by any stretch of the means,
Right,
right? I
right.
mean, actually a quite explosive trend on a week by week, month by month basis. So you're thinking more longer term. I guess what you're probably saying here is the doctor is fine. He does not have maybe she does not have a cold and looks just
No.
perfectly fine.
I think so. And if you think, with oil prices coming back down,
Mhm.
that's also going to help the global economy, particularly emerging markets. And so that kind of stress on the global economy has, resided some with oil prices pulling back. And, Dr. Copper is, although I think it's now more attached to the AI trade than it is kind of its traditional Dr. Copper-ness. But, it still is, it just still is a check of the global economy. And it certainly, energy prices pulling back is going to help relieve some of that pressure of say a global recession if say we had prolonged energy prices much higher.
All right, very very good. I'm going to ask this question. Well, this is from Khalid. Khalid said no one's really talked about the death cross in the gold market, and which I will have to say that is a death cross. And he said it's typically a contrarian indicator. And we'll go test that theory here in a second. So maybe giving that death cross might give us a little fodder for a relief rally. And I think that's a good point. And let's back it up a little bit. And I'm going to take you back to, this is 2018. This is where we get a lot of crosses between the 50-day and the 200 DMA here. So if you look at, and I think I pointed this out actually at the time, now that I'm looking at my drawings, this is a death cross, and that provided a bottom. Right when we got that death cross. Now it was a little mixed signal here. There's a death cross, rally.
Yep.
Yeah. Death cross, rally. And it's funny when you have an asset class that is as bullish as gold is, I think that is true. But if you can identify that a trend has clearly reversed and there's reasons that it clearly reversed, maybe the death cross should be more respected. But for right now, like I'm with you, Trace. I don't see any real unless we see a big move in yields. I can't see any reason to really be bearish gold at these levels with
Right.
a death cross. So, what do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, unless, to be clear, even though the market is pricing in rate hikes in the US, I doubt we are going to see that
Right.
happen. I'm just saying, I know that, I mean, the market's factoring in 36% for July. I mean, that's not happening, you guys. So the market may have gotten a little ahead of itself. So I think, that certainly would help gold, because if we did raise rates, gold would not like that whatsoever. We know that.
Yeah,
But
right.
I think the chances of that happening are very little this year. I think, I think Warsh may be hoping he can kind of spook the long end with his rhetoric, because the Fed can't do anything about the long end, but if he sounds hawkish, he can kind of psychologically move that market. But there is nothing the Fed could do. The Fed's not in control of long end anyway. But I would like one whoosh down in gold, like a nice washout, and to buy. But don't know if we'll get that or not. I can't
Okay.
guarantee.
No, and you know what? That's the one thing I know. Me, you, Pax, Jim, on Fridays we talked about like getting a washout in gold and seeing us back at 3,500. I think all of us would
Oh,
be.
well, I didn't want
Yes.
3,500. That would scare me. But, I was looking for like 38, 37.
Okay.
That's enough because, look at, I mean, 4,000's kind of been support. And so I was hoping to run some stops underneath there decently, not like a few dollars.
Yeah, and remember, this is the alt bat target was 3,900, and we came so damn close. And it's
I
like
know.
you thought you'd get close enough or far enough to like trigger enough stops to get people to exit, but it just looks like now we got a basing pattern down here. So
Yep, it does.
it's well, yeah. So maybe it might be wishful thinking to get our levels all the way down there. And just remember, guys, with trading analytics, you guys can get that interest rate probability that Tracy's talking about right here for July. This is like kind of just letting us know that there is a chance that we get rate hikes, but I agree with Tracy. The chances of that happening are a lot slimmer than 30%. In my opinion. So, all right. Well, Tracy, it has been awesome to have you here. I always have fun with you. You guys remember Tracy's joining us on Wednesdays. I don't want to keep her here for like 45 minutes because I don't want to wear out our stay or for her being here. So, Tracy, I'm going to miss you this Friday. We're not broadcasting on Friday.
I know. So no. So you're not on tomorrow?
I'm not. Not that I know of.
Okay.
No, not that I know of. I don't think I am.
I haven't looked at the schedule.
No, I usually get ping, I get a ping like, oh, hey, Blake, I forgot. But no, I don't think tomorrow. I think I'll just be catching you guys in a week and a day. So in about 8 days from now on Ninja Trader Live. But that means I'll see you here next Wednesday.
Yes. Absolutely.
Right.
Happy 4th of July, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, and happy 250th birthday, everybody that lives here in the United States, and everybody outside of the United States. Enjoy the World Cup games, and if you're enjoying what you see here, make sure you give Tracy a thumbs up, comment on the YouTube channel. Send her a love letter. That'd be great. And then also make sure you tune in to catch her live on Ninja Trader Live. So she's an awesome analyst to have in your pocket. So Tracy, great to see you.
Thanks, guys.
Happy holidays.